Danny, I know a core philosophy of ThreatLocker is prevention. You do need a certain part of your security program to be detection and respond, but they can actually work in concert. And I know you're doing something like this. Explain.
2 years ago, just a little bit more, we decided to go out and actually build a detection and response agent. And the reason we did this is so many customers were saying, hey, we're using ThreatLocker, we're blocking untrusted software, we're doing all these things, and now our SOC has no alerts, but we're still subscribing to this idea of detection and response. So we went out and said, okay, if we were to build detection and response into ThreatLocker, what does that look like? And at first it looks like, let's go through the MITRE ATT&CK framework, let's look at vulnerabilities, let's look for known indicators of compromise, and let's add that in. But it didn't seem really enough. So what we did is said, well, rather than just saying, hey, we're going to send an alert to the SOC and SOC's going to respond to the alert, why don't we make it a little bit more difficult for the attackers? So we built in the ability to create triggered policies based on indicators of compromise or anything else. So attacker gets on, they enumerate privileges, it sends an alert to the SOC, and at the same time, it kills command prompt, PowerShell, Windows Terminal, all of the admin tools on the server. The server continues to run. But if you're an attacker, your day just got really, really bad. So that's the kind of thing we're doing. And then there's also examples on data exfiltration. Mm-hmm. World of Zero Trust again. My CFO, great guy, Ross, really like him. He's got access to all of the company's financials. He's a CFO. Zero Trust says he has access. He's also allowed to access those financials and upload them to certain websites on the internet because he shares them with our investors. So Zero Trust says we're going to allow access in this case. And I don't distrust Ross at all. Mm-hmm. However, maybe his account gets compromised one day. Maybe he leaves his laptop unlocked in an airport. So we decided to put extra controls in place. So while Ross uploads files to the internet, we said you can upload files, but in the event you upload more than, say, 50 files in an hour, we're going to kill the browser's access to the files. We're going to send an alert to the SOC. We can do this with USB or anything else. And if it's a false positive, they hit clear and within seconds it's cleared. If it's not, we just stopped an attack before it actually became significant.
What have you learned from your audience as they sort of implement these policies?
It's actually really nice because it's allowing customers to enable parts of the business that they couldn't before. Because before, they either had to allow USB for the whole, even for a user, for unlimited amounts, or allow file upload for unlimited amounts. And that made them feel really uncomfortable as a security department. So they'd just say, no, you can't do this. And then the user would try and find ways around this because they needed to do this. What this has allowed customers to do, and this is great conversations with customers, I really need this, we do this currently, but we just get so many complaints for the business. What can I do to limit it? What can I do to give them what they need without putting me as a business operator at risk or a security operator at risk?
You do have a mechanism should someone truly need to upload 50, 200 files.
Yeah, absolutely. So you set the policy, you set the restrictions on the policy, you revoke the access if they exceed it, but if they need to get access again, they can just hit request access, or the SOC can just clear it. Because quite often, if you set limits and those limits work for 11 months and then you see someone trip it by one file and you look and it's just a bunch of PowerPoints, the SOC can make the decision that this actually is not a real alert. And as soon as they clear that, they get it back within 60 seconds. But also, even before that, they can request it and it can be approved within 60 seconds anyway. So if you're stuck in a trade show and you're desperately trying to copy PowerPoint and you've messed up the version and your limit's 10 times and you've gone to 11, then you can just say request this and somebody can approve it very, very quickly.
Danny, thank you so much for your time. Well, if you want to know more about ThreatLocker and how they can help you and support you in your efforts to essentially combine the sort of the prevention and the detection, the sort of two different models you have to have in security, and sort of create policies that sort of support your efforts for all the business units, go check them out at threatlocker.com/CISO. Throw that on at the end. Threatlocker.com/CISO. We're putting the URL right there. It's right there. Add the /CISO. It's just a really easy way to let them know that you learned about them through the CISO series.